Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is your servant and Senator Carla Joseph, welcoming you to another edition of my radio talk show, On Point. Thank you for joining me every other Tuesday here on WSTA 1340 AM on the People's Station to bring you up to date on my work, share information on matters of concern, and highlight the work of people and organizations within our community. Tonight, we will focus on sexual assault awareness. April 2024 marks the official 23rd anniversary of the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, NSVRC's, that's what that acronym is, of Sexual Assault Awareness and Child Abuse Prevention Month. Tonight, we will discuss this with Ms. Jeanette John-Baptiste, Outreach Awareness Coordinator for the Family Resource Center Incorporated. Welcome, Ms. John-Baptiste.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good to be here.
And it's good to have you here with me. Before we begin our conversation, Ms. John-Baptiste, I just want to share a few quick notes with our listeners. This past week, I had the privilege to attend the Sea Trade Cruise Global Conference in Miami Beach, Florida. At this global conference, persons are represented from all the major national and international cruise industry stakeholders. This is my second time attending this conference, and my major takeaway from this conference is that cruising is back with a huge bang. And the Caribbean region, specifically the U.S. Virgin Islands, continue to be the premier and highest demand cruise ship destination. Our Commissioner of Tourism, Honorable Joseph Bushelty, stated that St. Thomas and St. Croix experienced a 13% growth in 2023 over 2019, with the West Indian Company Dock, Crown Bay Dock, and the Anne Abramson Marine Facility welcoming more than 1,600,000 passengers from 495 total calls for the year. Additionally, our exhibit location this year was a marked improvement from last year's location. Last year, we were placed in the back, imagine that, the back, and we opening our ports during COVID, the back of the, close to the restroom. That was last year, 2023. This year, we were strategically located further in the middle and close to the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association exhibit, which I thought was a marked improvement. Kudos to the personnel at the Department of Tourism, West Indian Company Limited, GRS, and the Virgin Islands Port Authority, and everyone that played a role in making the U.S. Virgin Islands exhibit dynamic. Let me tell you something. People were coming to our exhibit in droves. And in fact, I had a conversation with one of the exhibitors. They said, my goodness, the steel pan, the mocha jumbi, the ladies, the young ladies dancing, you and the Virgin Islands just blow every other exhibit out of the water. How great is that? That made me feel like a great Virgin Islander full of pride and hope with the product that we are definitely marketing here in the Virgin Islands. Last year, the late and former Senator, the Honorable Alicia Chucky Hansen, and I were together for the majority of the conference, and she really took me under her wings to go around to the booths and tell me what to expect. I'm very appreciative to her. God rest her soul in peace. She was dynamic. And with our showing at this year's conference, I know that she would have been pleased. We still need to create an opportunity to market our rums, though. That's my only takeaway that is not positive. We didn't have any of our rums showing. We need to showcase our Crucian and Captain Morgan rum. Because remember, When we showcase that rum, that's a rum cover over monies that's coming into the territory from the U.S. Treasury for all of that rum that we export. So the more our reaches with the rum, the better it is for us. Because I'm telling you, this money that we got, but for the hurricane and but for the pandemic, is not going to be there to sustain us for very long. So we should be planning all now and effectuating and implementing mechanisms to actually grow what we export. So that's one of the things that I looked at. And to tell you, our biggest competitor in Puerto Rico, they had a display of their rum. And I'm not going to say their rum because they're our competitor, but everybody knows who that competitor is. So I just want to say they had a display, we did not. And we need to up our game to make sure they know who is on top, not only with the cruising, but with the rum, which we export to the Virgin Islands, which helps sustain all of us here in the Virgin Islands. Next Monday, April 22nd, is Earth Day. And Earth Day 2024 is significant because it invites us to honor and celebrate our remarkable planet. On this extraordinary day, we are reminded of the importance of environmental conservation and sustainability. Let's come together and take action for a healthier planet and brighter future. And the theme for Earth Day 2024 is Planet versus Plastic. And in appreciation for Earth Day and remembering that the earth is God's and the fullness thereof, is tantamount to our stewardship and preservation of Mother Earth. One way to demonstrate stewardship of Mother Earth and in commemoration and remembering Earth Day is to join the Environmental Association of St. Thomas and St. John, the Virgin Islands Conservation Society, and the Trust for Virgin Islands Land for the 2024 Earth Day cleanup activity this weekend on Sunday, April 21st from 7:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. and they're meeting up at Megan's Bay Junction. The cleanup is going to be of Megan's Bay. This is a super fantastic way to celebrate Mother Earth and Earth Day by removing trash and beautifying our islands. The organizations are asking that persons bring glove and refillable bottles. Bags will be provided. Remember, keeping our islands beautiful and clean is all of our responsibility, not only on Earth Day, but every single day. So if you see some litter, just don't kick it to the side, pick it up and throw it in the garbage bin. We have been advertising, I'm so excited about this. We have been advertising our 4th annual Black and VI History Month art competition for the middle school students in our public and private schools, which are students who are in the 5th to 8th grade. And hear this, on Friday, April 5th, we announced that Khalees Henley, I repeat that name, Khalees Henley, a 5th grader attending the Bertha Seba Shelter Middle School, was this year's winner. She drew a dynamic pencil-drawn dynamic rendering of her favorite Black history hero, Harriet Tubman, and she wrote a fantastic essay about why she chose Harriet Tubman. Miss Henley won $300 cash award for her depiction and her essays, which she delivered on time. In one of the upcoming shows for On Point, we will definitely provide you, our listeners and viewers, an opportunity to hear from this dynamic young lady and young Virgin Islander about her essay, as well as showcase her drawing of Harriet Tubman. If you have Facebook, you could go on my Facebook page, Senator Carla Joseph, and you will see that depiction, or you can go on my website at senatorcarlajoseph.com. Now, we spent about 10 minutes. We're going to spend the rest of the 20 minutes or so talking to Ms. Jeanette John-Baptiste. And now to focus on our discussion with the Family Resource Center, and April being Sexual Assault Month. So, Ms. John-Baptiste, welcome again.
Thank you.
And it's wonderful seeing you and hearing from you, and I'm so thankful that you joined us this evening. And I know you're a big fan of somebody who I am named after, and you were telling me about him, so I'm going to just give a little shout out to my big brother, Carl Joseph. Big C, boy, you carry a big stick. That's why you use a big C, all right? And so we were talking about him a little bit. Now, tell us, Ms. John-Baptiste, about this month's observance of sexual assault, what it is and who it is impacted, who is impacted by it.
Since 2001, April has been observed as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And since 1983, I think, it has been designated as Child Abuse Awareness Month. And why? It has something to do with VAWA. I can't remember the whole long story, but it had something to do with VAWA, Violence Against Women Act. And finally, the agencies were able to, the national agencies were able to get Congress to designate April as those 2 months to bring awareness to violence against women and violence against children.
Oh, fantastic. So this was through an act of Congress. Had to be some strong people to make that, because typically when you are a victim of some type of assault, whether it's sexual, some type of physical, domestic abuse, or any type of harassment and the like, you always feel victimized. And it's good that, you know, the Family Resource Center is here to provide our people with that level of advocacy as well as counseling. What is the message of the Family Resource Center for persons that may have faced or is dealing with sexual assault?
Well, the mission statement for Family Resource Center is to end violence in the Virgin Islands through trauma-informed victim services, prevention, and education. And the vision statement is to end violence in the Virgin Islands and ensure a brighter future for all residents. And that's what Family Resource Center is doing. There are so many services that are available. When we think of Family Resource Center, we think of domestic violence.
Yes.
But they do so much more than aid victims and survivors of sexual violence and domestic violence.
So what are the other aspects of their services components?
Okay, that's the only agency with a shelter designated for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault.
Wonderful.
They help for those who are in a really dangerous situation.
Yes.
It's a matter of life and death.
Yes.
Then they can help you to get out of the circumstances that you're living in, and put you up someplace.
So do you advocate for individuals, go to the courts for individuals who have been victimized by sexual assault? What about sexual harassment? Any of those things? Do you advocate for those individuals and give them some guidance?
Well, actually, Family Resource Center has an advocacy program where they help victims and survivors, giving them assistance in obtaining protection orders, accompanying them to court hearings.
Yes.
And criminal trials and court practice. Every Thursday, a family court, there's a staff member of Family Resource Center sitting there waiting to aid.
And how important is that, especially to a person who has been victimized? Because typically, I mean, I have been in situations where I have had to advocate for individuals. And one of the things that they have told me is that your being there with me helped to strengthen them. So is that part of it? Because a victim, when they're victimized, and some of us have been victimized, you feel that you did something wrong. You are the reason that this attack occurred to you. You're shaking your head in the affirmative. The listening audience can I hear that?
Unfortunately, a lot of victims believe, because that is what the perpetrator does. They try to work your brain over.
Right.
They what's the word I'm looking for?
Manipulate.
They manipulate you in such a way that you actually believe that it's my fault why I'm being abused.
Right. And this type of characteristic and these type of behavior, you've been seeing an increase in them since the pandemic?
Since COVID.
You've seen it. And you think it's because of the stressors with the hurricane and all of those things that's coming out? Or is it that the victims now feel, and because the Family Resource Center is there, they know that they have rights and it isn't them?
Well, a lot of the increase is because of there was nothing else to do at that time.
Okay.
Everybody was inside. At other times you have the opportunity to go out of the house.
Right.
But now we're all in the house. We're not going anywhere. So of course we have more opportunity. More opportunities given the perpetrator.
Yes.
To do what they do best, which is to abuse you. Right.
Okay, so how are we seeing, has the family, do you collect data on the number of abuse case, sexual assault case that's been happening? And I'm not just saying, typically we have a mindset that, sexual assault, the victim is usually a female. Are we seeing it like also with men? Have you experienced any cases where men have come to you because they have been sexually assaulted?
Too many men don't come to us, and we know why. It's because of that stigma.
Yes.
Because of that stigma, they stay and they take it, because a man is not supposed to be abused by a woman. But it happens, and it happens a lot. Women still are the primary victims, but there are enough men out there who are victims of domestic violence.
Yeah, I remember seeing a couple of arrests in the newspaper where the perpetrator was a female. And then I'm like, this guy had the courage. It's courageous, because you just mentioned that stigma for a person to actually, and it doesn't have to be a woman, but especially it's courageous for a man to come forward, because people will call him all kind of names. But we do still have that major issue here in the Virgin Islands, where there's a major thing about either sexual harassment and sexual abuse, and this is sexual awareness. Now, do you entertain cases with sexual harassment?
Not as much. Not as much, because that is really a case for the Department of Labor. So people don't really come to us with that. But go on.
Okay, so that's understandable. Department of Labor, but as far as counseling those individuals and providing that level of counseling,
that is available.
That is available. Great. I wanted to also ask you, in addition to the sexual assault, we covered some of the ways that you provide the family resources, provide assistance to our community. What is your can you speak about what your major funding sources are? I know, you do fundraisers and the like, and you get grants. What is your major funding source, or how do you pay for your services?
We do get grants, but we also are so thankful that the community has embraced us, and so we get donations. We're always looking for donations, and it doesn't matter how much. I remember this one lady, every month she would send $10. Every month. She was consistent. $10. And it makes a difference.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how small it is, it makes a difference because we need those services in our community. And the only way we can pay for them is through the grants that we get and through the donations.
Right. Does the Family Resource Center have a screening process for volunteers who are assisting you with providing support to individuals who seek refuge at the Family Resource Center?
Well, I haven't been back at the Family Resource Center for too long, so I can't answer that. But when I worked with DVSAT, there was
okay.
You had to get a police report.
Right.
Is it a police report? Something from the police.
Yes, you get the police report. You go there and you pay your fee, and
yes,
and you get your background check. Did they do an extensive background check? Well, you wouldn't be able to speak to that because you had previously worked there, so they already have a record of you. But that's one of the things that we wanted to ask. How can the community be of assistance to the Family Resource Center?
Oh, I love that question because we're looking for volunteers. This Saturday at the market, and I keep tempted to say Plaza Extra, at the market and at Cost You Less, we'll be doing a food drive.
Okay, what does that entail?
What it entails is community. The community helping us out.
Okay.
Because we have a pantry, and you'd be surprised how many people come to Family Resource Center because they have nothing to eat.
Okay, so you're doing a food drive, so should they bring canned goods?
Canned goods. We have a list.
Okay.
And we tell them when they're going into the store. So
what
if
to
they're
select.
if they're able, they can always add that to their shopping list and give it to us when they come out.
Okay, so so what time are you going to be there at Casulas?
9 to 4, but I think we're probably going to ask people, stop asking at 3, because by the time the person goes into the store and do their shopping and come out, it's probably an hour. Right. And so it's 9. We're gonna be there 9 to 4, but we stop asking at 3 o'clock.
Okay, so 9 to 4, and is it 9 to 4, 9 to 3 at the market, formerly Plaza Extra, and the same time frame, 9 to 4
at Cost You Less.
And all of this is on the same day.
Yes, Saturday the 20th. So it's this Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
And we're looking for volunteers. We're desperate for volunteers to help us.
Okay, and where can they contact you should they want to volunteer for this exceptionally good activity and fundraiser?
The number to call is 340-776-3966 or 340-776-STOP, S-T-O-P.
Okay, and that's fantastic. We are almost out of time. It's we only have about 6 minutes.
I have one
Go
more
ahead.
thing to say.
Go ahead, please.
The 24th of April is what is labeled globally as Denim Day. What is Denim Day, you ask? Well, this young lady in Italy was getting ready to go do her for her driving lessons. Right. Her driver came, picked her up, and then he raped her.
Atrocious.
It was hard. It took her a couple of days, but she finally told her parents, and they went through the court system. He lost.
Good.
He appealed.
And he won, I bet
he won.
Oh, jeez, and Brett, after he had done this.
And you know why he won?
A technicality?
No.
What?
Well, I could say, but I'll sound rude. The judge said that her jeans were too tight, so he had to have help.
You see what I tell you? They see what I say? They always want to say
it's always the woman's fault.
Oh, it's always the victim's fault.
Yes, always the victim's fault.
Victim's fault. Oh, she wearing a short skirt. Oh, she she looked too nice. She walking so sexy. Something. But you're just living your life and being you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, years ago, this is my whole pet peeve. Women had to wear long skirts all the way covering up the ankle because when you show your ankle, it says it entices the men. I thought it was ridiculous when I used to read about that in the history books. But it's really a person and their behavior. They lack self-control. I love this passage from the Bible. It's in Ephesians. It says, I think it's either Ephesians or Timothy. Okay, it says, God has not given us a spirit of fear or timidity, but of power, self-control, and love. Okay? I'm paraphrasing it. Don't crucify me if I didn't get everything right, but you get the sense. That's the whole thing about it. And people need to practice some self-control. They have lack of self-control, and it's causing us to have a level of lawlessness.
And if you feel that you have a problem, go get help. There is help available.
No, they don't feel, because then there are other people who encourages it. Like this judge.
Thank you.
They encourage, and I bet it was a male judge.
Of course.
Yes, that's how they act. Because they know what they're thinking and what they would do, and that's how the whole things happen.
Yes, so he said her jeans were too tight, so he had to have help to take it out, so it was consensual.
What kind of stupidness is that?
So what we're doing is asking members of the public on the 24th to wear denim.
Denim?
Yes, wear
jeans.
denim.
That's jeans.
That's jeans.
The 24th? What day is that? Next week, Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Next week, Wednesday. Yeah, so denim day for denim this young lady. What's her name?
I don't know
what day it is?
April the 24th.
Okay. And you said it was diverse something?
No, it's denim day.
Denim day. So that is fantastic. Oh, I see somebody in the studio who I want to go hail up to, the big O. He's right here. So I really want to say that this is very good. This is a very important discussion. Ms. Baptiste, I want to thank you so much for joining me here this evening for On Point. You have really given us a wealth of information. Repeat again the number that our people can call you should they have some issue. Don't be afraid. You can't be afraid. Okay, things have happened, and we who are victims, we need to stand together. Let's have the number once again.
Always remember that you're not alone. Help is available. You can always come to Family Resource Center, and somebody will be there to hold your hand. The number is 340-776-STOP or 340-776-3966.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Ms. John-Baptiste. Our next segment of On Point will be airing on April 30th, Tuesday, April 30th, and we will focus on the horse racing industry in the Virgin Islands and the upcoming carnival horse racing. Wow, what a conversation we're going to have. Everyone knows that I am a big champion of horse racing because growing up in Bovoni housing community, that was one of the recreational events that we could have attended. So, you okay? So we really are very excited to have horse racing back. Also, the Committee on Government Operations, Veterans Affairs, and Consumer Protection, which I chair, is scheduled to have our meeting this coming Tuesday, April 23rd, at 10 a.m. in the Irby at the Legislative Hall. I invite you, of course, as always, to visit my website, senatorcarlajoseph.com, and subscribe and like me on Facebook and Instagram at Senator Carla Joseph. Until then, thank you again, Ms. Baptiste.
Thank you for having me.
Ms. John-Baptiste for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's been good.
Okay, and thank you to all who listened into tonight's show. Do spread the word to your family and friends and neighbors to listen to On Point. On Point can be heard every other Tuesday from 6 to 6:30 p.m. here on the People's Station, WSTA 1340 on the AM dial. Let's together stay on point, Virgin Islands. God bless and have a good night.
So you can keep this.
Okay. We put up